Hey everyone, this is Shinfist with What We Find Cool, and today we're going over the top 5 badass slash what the fuck moments in Game of Thrones. Now keep in mind a couple things. Number one is that there are far more than 5 awesome moments in Game of Thrones. These are just my top 5 personal favorites. Number two, this is coming from someone who hasn't read the books, so I understand maybe some of these moments may not have been as shocking to people who have read the books, but this is coming from someone who hasn't read them. And the third thing to keep in mind is that if you haven't read or if you haven't watched both of these seasons in their entirety, there will be some spoilers in here. So again, if you haven't watched them, I suggest not watching the rest of this video because there will be spoilers. Number 5. Jaime Lannister duel. Now here, throughout the whole series, they've hinted at certain parts in the series that Jaime and Ned were really, really great sword fighters, and the fact that they don't like each other, they do not like each other. I guess it's because Jaime killed the Mad King. In any case, they always hint at, they always kind of throw little insults here and there about who the better fighter might be. Ned always says, you've chosen your enemies wisely, as in maybe he just fought people who were, obviously not as skilled as him. And Jaime always says that Ned, you're kind of old and you probably wouldn't be able to stand up to him anymore. So they've always kind of hinted towards this rivalry, but in the past, they've never actually clashed swords. They've never actually fought. So finally, when Ned is no longer the Hand of the King, and he's leaving, Jaime rides up to Ned because his wife imprisoned his brother Tyrion, and they start fighting, and Jaime's guards start fighting Ned's guards, and they're killing each other, and then towards the end, it's Jaime and Ned toe-to-toe fighting, clashing swords, and it lives up to what you expect. They're both, going toe-to-toe, they're both basically even, until one of Jaime's guards, while Ned isn't looking, stabs him in the leg, and kind of ends the fight. Jaime doesn't want to kill him, because at that point, he can't say who was the better fighter. He actually goes up to that guard and slaps him. So, yeah, that fight was awesome. I really wish we could have seen a definite winner, but it was definitely what I expected the fight to be, so I really enjoyed that. Number 4. Cersei Lannister. Power is power. Now in this scene, Littlefinger is trying to bribe / scare Cersei by revealing to her that he knows her secret, and he ends the conversation by saying, knowledge is power, trying to, scare her. And Cersei has these 4 guards around her, and then she just says, seize him, and the 4 guards grab him, and then she says, slit his throat, and one of them actually, without hesitation, takes out his knife / sword thing, and goes to cut his throat, and right before he does, Cersei says, wait, no, don't do that. Everyone take 3 steps back, and they take 3 steps back, and she says, turn around, and they turn around. Then she goes over to Littlefinger and whispers, power is power. And I think this is one of the most awesome, totally badass, because just how she, that retort is just so scary that it doesn't matter that you know my secret. The fact is, I'm the one in power, and you're the one who isn't. So it's just kind of a reminder of that, and it totally goes towards her character. That is, status is most important to her, and more important than that is passing on her status to her children. So I think that was just such an awesome scene, and totally plays toward her character. Number 3. Joffrey Lannister. Whore abuse. Now this scene, the setup for this scene is that Joffrey has been kind of going on a tirade. He's been, wanting to execute people left and right, and especially tormenting the Stark girl after he took over and became king. And at this point, Tyrion Lannister is Hand of the King, and I guess to kind of calm him down, he wanted to send some whores to him to sow his royal oats, so to speak. So, kind of to calm him down. But So he sends the whores there, and instead of engaging in intercourse or anything sexual with them, he has one of them beat the other one and just like beat her as hard as she could. And he held one of them at quote-unquote gunpoint, where he had a crossbow, and told her to hit her harder. And then he gave her even a scepter that has the Baratheon symbol on it, which is the stag. It had the stag antlers, and told her to use that on her. And the scene is just really tough to watch and creepy, and it really goes to show just what a disturbed and power-hungry, creepy character Joffrey really is. Number 2. Daenerys Targaryen. He is not a dragon. Now in this scene, first of all, it's Daenerys Targaryen. I think she is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite character in this series. She's been slowly evolving. At first she was just like the humble, quiet person next to her brother, who her brother basically would abuse and use as a tool. She was just used to get an army for him, and it's really horrible the way he treated her, because if the Targaryens were still in power, this guy's sister would be his queen. You know, they didn't believe in intermixing marriage, and they always wanted their bloodline to be pure, you know, blue blood. So his sister would have actually been his lover and his queen as well. So not only is this his sister that he's raised and you know, brought up since birth, but it's supposed to be his queen, and he really, really mistreats her. So at this point where he just gets fed up of, I guess in his mind, being disrespected, and he wants his money, he goes up to Daenerys and her new husband, I can't talk, and her husband of the Dothraki, and demand his money. He demands what he wants. He wants his crown. He wants to be on the Iron Throne. And they melt a pot of gold and then pour it on his head, killing him. And Daenerys, she's just, I guess, so fed up, so cold towards her brother, that she just looks at him and just says, he's not a dragon. Dragons can't be hurt by fire. And it's just, I don't know, I just really like her evolution throughout the series, and it's about time that guy got what was coming to him. And the number 1 most badass / what the fuck moment of Game of Thrones is Ned Stark. No main character syndrome. Now, main character syndrome is a term that a couple friends and I use. It's basically an excuse to say why the main character wins, or why the main character never just dies when a villain has an opportunity to kill them. You know, oh my god, why did that happen? Well, he has main character syndrome, that's why. And if a main character were to be chosen for the first season, I'd definitely say Ned Stark was the main character, and he definitely did not have main character syndrome, because at the end of the season, he was beheaded. Him and Joffrey had a deal that he would confess to crimes that he didn't do, and he would be sent off to the Night's Watch or some other punishment. And instead of going through with that, Joffrey executes him publicly. And that was just a completely shocking moment. So that's it for the top 5 moments of Game of Thrones, Season 1 and 2, obviously. And like I said, there are so many other awesome scenes. I mean, there's one with when the Dothraki, when both of them are fighting each other. Basically anything with Tyrion Lannister. I mean, he just steals the scene in any scene that he's in. You know, when Joffrey forces the Stark girl to look at Ned's head. Actually, speaking of Joffrey, when Joffrey slaps Cersei, you know, for disrespecting him, and I'm sorry, when Cersei slapped Joffrey, right? And you know, when the White Walkers rise, I mean, there's so many awesome scenes of Game of Thrones, and I mean, it's hard to pick only 5, but those are my 5 favorites, and you know, I really can't wait for Season 3. It's coming out in a couple of days, so really excited for that. But as for right now, that's kind of all I find cool. Talk to you guys later.